hardly anybody's paying full price. And if you're paying full price, you're basically the sucker in the game. You know, you're footing the bill for this whole charade.
Yeah, and I would go further and say if you're paying anything at those lower schools, you probably shouldn't go.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to episode 521 of the Thinking LSAT podcast. I'm Ben Olson. With me is Nathan Fox. We're the co-founders of LSATdemon.com and the LSAT Demon Daily podcast. Today we're going to jump into more AI stuff. Is AI making law school obsolete?
Yeah, we got an article here from Forbes with the title, Ex-Google exec says degrees in law and medicine are a waste of time because they take so long to complete that AI will catch up by graduation. I think you found this. Is this something your dad sent you probably? I know your dad is like an AI knower.
Yeah, exactly. He sent it to me among many articles, but this one stuck out to me because one, a former Google executive knows something about technology.
Sure.
But two, it also rings true to some degree, right? We've seen how quickly AI is getting better. There are obviously huge caveats to that and problems. But my reaction to this headline is it's not going to make law school entirely obsolete. I think it will actually make competition at the top even greater, but it will make or put a lot of pressure on the bottom schools to get out of the business.
Yeah, I mean, wake me up when one of two things happens, okay? Wake me up when, one, there's a decrease in the amount of legal action in the country.
Why do you need a decrease in the amount of legal action? You actually could see an increase because AI can handle it.
Sure, one of two things. Either that, which ain't happening.
Yep.
Or when the AIs are capable of doing it themselves, or if they're actually displacing people from their jobs, which I think we are totally in agreement that, you know, one attorney who knows how to use these tools properly can do the work of 10 baby attorneys. Like, why do you need the baby attorneys who are just going to be producing a bunch of slop anyway?
Yeah.
If you can produce a bunch of slop using AI.
Yeah.
But it seems quite far-fetched to me. There was one line in here that just made me kind of say, like, come on. You know, so right in the top, right, this first bullet point, Gen Z grads are struggling to land jobs, but pursuing a doctoral degree to stand out is not the answer, warns Jad Tarifi, the founder of Google's first Gen AI team. Students could end up throwing away years of their lives as technology is moving so quickly. This comes as OpenAI CEO Sam Altman says ChatGPT can already perform on par with PhD level experts. And I think later in the piece, it says something about how, or maybe there's a quote in there about like, oh yeah, well, it's already basically a PhD level expert in everything, which I think is only true if you're yourself not a PhD level expert in that thing. I don't know. It's just, on the one hand, it's wildly powerful and unbelievably good at a lot of stuff. On the other hand, I just had an experience this over the weekend. I'm trying to play Legend of Zelda, you know, Tears of the Kingdom. It's a fabulous game. I'm trying to play this game, Tears of the Kingdom, and I can't find one very basic thing early in the game, and I can't figure it out. And I swear to God, I wasted like 2 hours talking because I thought, oh, well, I'll just ask ChatGPT. And it confidently gives me these directions, and I'm trying to follow the directions. Nope, that's not working. Sorry, try again. Think harder. Nope, I'm still confused. I don't get it. In the end, I end up going to YouTube, asking my question, solving it in literally 30 seconds. And it's like, okay, so this thing, and I'm talking about, you know, this is ChatGPT 5 telling it think harder and everything else to get like the best model. And it's just confidently giving me wildly wrong shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess what I look at is I look at the spectrum, right? I have a contract issue that I'm looking into right now, and ChatGPT instantly gives me 5 different angles for how to
Yep.
think about it.
Yep.
And an attorney that I asked the question to said, first of all, they didn't respond over the weekend. Second of all, when they responded Monday morning, they said, "Hey, you know what? I can get to it this afternoon." Then their response wasn't, "Hey, here's what I think." It's, "Let's chat. This is this is
Yeah.
complicated." And it's like, okay. And then I chat, and the chat was ho hum conversation, and that's all billing hours.
Yeah. Totally.
And so it's like, get rid of all of that and then go to the attorney with the final question, or at least some awareness of the issue,
Yeah.
so that you're not relying on them just to burn hours
Yeah.
uselessly. Yeah.
To the extent that this advice is saying, hey, be careful, like education is not a gravy train. That's something that we've said on this podcast for 500 whatever episodes, right?
Yeah.
It's not like we're trying to encourage anybody to go to law school. God forbid.
Yeah.
There's plenty of people who are trying to go to law school, and we never stop saying there's probably twice as many people going to law school every single year than are going to productively have legal careers. And I think that's 100% true. I think the data just back that up.
Yep.
Like most people, or around half the people that go, never practice, or practice a little bit and wash out and do something else. So it's not, certainly not the type of thing that we want you to go $200,000 in debt for and spend 3 years of your life for, unless you're really sure this is what you want to do. But this blanket advice, I found one line that made me kind of laugh, was higher education as we know it is on the verge of becoming obsolete, Tarifi said. Thriving in the future will come not from collecting credentials, but from cultivating unique perspectives, agency, emotional awareness, and strong human bonds. I encourage young people to focus on 2 things. 1, the art of connecting deeply with others. 2, the inner work of connecting with themselves. And I just, as a platitude, that sounds great. But where is a young person going to find the art of deeply connecting with others and do the inner work of connecting with themselves? Like, where are they going to cultivate unique perspectives?
I agree. I laughed at that line too. I don't think that's the value of this article. I think the value of this article is highlighting the fact, well, and I don't even know that the article says it, but it points me in the direction of realizing that these bottom feeder law schools have always been a problem. And AI is going to be the thing that I think pushes them over the edge. It just makes the value proposition so bad that finally people will say, nope, it's not like this person apparently thinks that degrees in law and medicine are a waste of time. They won't be a waste of time for the very best.
Yeah.
The very best are actually going to benefit more from AI. They're going to come in, they're going to help guide it. All those things are going to be needed. I think if you're going to a school ranked 100 or lower, unless you're going for free,
Yeah.
yes, you're walking into this trap that this person is talking about.
Yeah, no, and couldn't agree with you more that most, you just should not be paying tuition at bottom feeding law schools. You should definitely look at the financial picture at whatever school you're looking at.
Yeah.
Go to the American Bar Association 509 reports, go to our law school scholarship estimator, look at our tuition roll call page, you get the harsh reality that hardly anybody's paying full price. And if you're paying full price, you're basically the sucker in the game. You're footing the bill for this whole charade.
Yeah. And I would go further and say if you're paying anything at those lower schools, you probably shouldn't go.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree with you. I think that the opportunity cost of the time matters a lot less when we're talking about people in their early 20s who don't know what the fuck else they're doing. They're just sort of exploring continued education, getting another degree. Is it the automatic golden ticket? Absolutely not. But is it better than nothing? Oh, yeah. I mean, as long as you're not like indebting yourself to get it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you are going to make connections. You are going to learn a little bit about the way the world works. But yeah, those like, well, it's funny too, because like the world's shittiest lawyer jobs are the ones that are going to get replaced first, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
absolutely those like doc review jobs
Yeah.
that it's just going to be like, oh no, those get fed into the machine.
Yeah.
We can have a secretary scan these documents and then the machine is going to do the actual doc review. We just don't need an army of first year associates late at night going through boxes and boxes of documents. So, like, hopefully, those will be the
Yeah.
jobs that go away first. So they're the worst jobs anyway.
Yeah.
Um, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I mean, is the law school game going to change? Like, the only thing that's going to change the law school game is if employment rates go way down and then people just stop pursuing, like, they just stop paying money for those shitty schools, right? That's the only thing that's going to actually put those shitty schools out of business.
Well, I was thinking about that, and part of the problem too, right, is that with AI and all these new companies like Coursera that could easily replace law school with a much, much cheaper option, that's just not going to happen with the ABA in place and these regulations, right? So the law, ironically, is preventing the legal profession from modernizing and becoming way more competitive and allowing people to get
Yeah.
right, because the cost prevents some of the best people from getting into the legal
Yeah.
field.
Yeah. But what else is new, right? I mean, that's just regulatory capture. It's not that surprising once you start to, see how the world actually works. Oh, you
Hmm.
think the ABA is out there protecting you? No, the ABA is out there trying to get donations from dental hygienists to support their mission
For
of
justice.
protecting the guild of lawyers, which is what they really do, is just,
Yeah.
protect the guild of lawyers. So they've, of course, dragged their feet on things like, for example, online JDs. Seems like that could have been happening a long time ago,
A long time
but in
ago. That didn't need AI. Yeah.
but right, but the American Bar Association, which is like totally captured by the guild of lawyers and the law schools, they're just like, oh yeah, no, you got to make sure that you have a huge library with shit tons of books in it,
And
and
you have to have in-person teachers located in some city
totally,
with
yeah,
buildings and
yeah,
facilities.
yeah.
Like,
And I mean,
oh,
all they're
okay.
doing is just it's creating barriers to entry so that they
Hmm.
can continue their monopoly. Um, Maybe it's an oligopoly over legal education and the
Yeah.
training of lawyers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, all those people will be fighting as hard as they can to stop this from happening. Meanwhile, it's also true that like crackpots are going to be much better equipped to file crazy, like high volumes of crazy, meaningless lawsuits, right? You're going to
Mm-hmm.
have to fight the AI with AI.
Mm-hmm.
It's just wild. Well, it'll be fun to watch.
Fun.
It's fun for
Yeah.
us because we don't have to worry about it, right? I'm
Yeah.
not worried about a job.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get a job as a lawyer, but I mean, it goes back to advice that we've always said, which is just you do need to make your own way. And like if you think that, regardless AI or not AI, if you think getting a JD and going to work for someone else is a good career path,
Hmm.
I don't know. That just feels like you're taking a lot of risk there. You're at the whims of whatever law firm you go off and decide to work for. They can
Yep.
work you however hard they want to work you. They can pay you whatever they want to pay you. I
Yep.
suppose you could always leave, quit your job and cancel your family's health insurance so that you can go work for some other boss who can similarly treat you poorly,
Yeah.
lay you off anytime they want. It's just not yeah, these credentials certainly are not like, oh, that's all you got to do. Just
Hmm.
get that, stamp that ticket, and then you're good.
Yeah. All right. This next one is LSAT testing is being suspended in mainland China.
Yeah, we got this Reddit post from January of this year. It said, I recently stumbled upon something that honestly makes me sick. I'm Chinese, and I've been seeing more and more posts on RedNote with LSAT applicants boasting 175 or higher scores. At first, I thought that's impressive, but then I started noticing something off. An increasing number of proxy test taking and technical assistance offers flooding RedNote. So I did some digging. I Googled Chinese keywords like LSAT test assistance, and what I found was shocking. There are entire businesses openly advertising LSAT cheating services, whether it's hiring a proxy to take the test, exploiting remote testing loopholes, or using technology to manipulate results. This is not just an isolated scam, it's a full-on industry.
Oh, shit.
So I don't actually remember even seeing that post. I think we dug that up in response to the email that we got yesterday from Law School Admission Council.
Mm-hmm.
You want to, I don't think we want to read this entire wall of text.
Yeah. Well, I'll start it. It says, I'm writing to make you aware of an important situation and the steps we are taking to protect the security and integrity of the LSAT. Okay, so this is an email coming from LSAC. Yep.
My edit is cut that paragraph.
Yep. Thank you. Bye. We have been increasingly concerned about organized efforts by individuals and companies in mainland China to promote test misconduct.
There it is. Okay.
Okay. While security is always a concern, these enterprises are becoming increasingly aggressive. This type of activity is not limited to the LSAT, semicolon. These enterprises purport to offer cheating services for virtually every standardized test. We are taking steps to try to shut down these operations and will pursue appropriate legal remedies. LSAC has also processes in place to monitor and respond to individual score irregularities for all LSAT candidates, and we will continue to evolve our security measures.
those, I mean, it's only anecdotal, right? But we've seen sometimes people not get their score on score release date, and they get an email from LSAC telling them we're checking something.
Yeah.
And then like a week later, they get their score back, and it's like way higher than their previous scores.
Yep. So
that's got to be what's going on there. Is that they are just routinely looking at people who get. I mean, I don't know. I could be wildly wrong, but anecdotally, that's what it looks like. Where we've seen people get these delays, and then sure enough, their score comes back, and it's like, oh yeah, well, it's because you killed it, and they had to go look you up a little bit.
Yeah, it's like the dash cam, right? It's not reviewed unless there's an issue, and they think there might be an issue, and they're going to go back and review it. So, yeah.
So what's LSAC doing?
It says, after careful consideration, we have decided to take the additional step of suspending online testing in mainland China following the upcoming October International Administration of the LSAT. We will be taking a variety of steps to enhance the security of the October LSAT. Because we do not currently offer in-person testing in mainland China, the October test will be the last LSAT administration in mainland China until further notice.
Wow. Yeah. And then they say it's unclear whether we're going to be able to do it by the next international administration in January of 2026. And they just apologize and say, yeah, we're working on it. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, you have to maintain the integrity of the test. So some people are going to say, hey, this is unfair. This is the reality of the situation we're in.
Yeah.
I don't blame them.
This is good news for 99% of our listeners. 99.9% of our listeners are not people who are trying to cheat on the LSAT in mainland China. So everybody else, you should be pretty glad, I think, that they have recognized that there is this problem and they're doing what they can to stop the cheating.
Yep. All right. We got some events coming up, huh?
We do. Our team is going to be at the LSAC Law School Forum in Miami on Saturday, September 20th. That's from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern at the Hyatt Regency in Miami. Come by our booth, talk to our team. The team hands out introductory discounts to LSAT Demon plans. If you are not already a subscriber, go say hi to the folks at the Law School Forum. We've heard great reports that our table has been like the only one with a line at these forums, and that makes me happy.
Well, the team doesn't even have to say anything. They just take a picture And you kind of feel bad for the other, I don't know,
Oh, it's
hosts.
hilarious because they'll have like Kaplan sitting right next door to them at the the booth, and like Kaplan doesn't even send LSAT experts to the fair. It's like, oh, this guy's basically an SAT teacher for
Yeah.
Kaplan, and
Yep.
he's just there handing out their stupid brochures or
Flyer.
whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
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 he's on his
meanwhile,
phone. While...
meanwhile, our team is like actual LSAT professionals there behind the desk. That you're talking to Abigail, who scored 179,
Yeah.
and she's showing you all the amazing demon features. Oh, by the way, spin the wheel and get a prize, and free demon swag and all this shit. So it's great that we have cracked the code on those LSAC forums, and hopefully anybody who's there in the Miami area, if you aren't doing anything, again, it's Saturday, September 20th, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And you could go say hi to the team and yeah, help our line get bigger.
Yeah. And then email the show. Tell us about your experience. We'd love to
Yeah,
hear.
absolutely. What's going on with Crushing 1L? It's a awesome team that we've built with Abi and company.
Yeah.
We're looking to build that team, huh?
Yeah, we are. Crushing 1L, first of all, is a new product that we're offering. It mirrors the smart drilling that we have for the LSAT, but it's for all the stuff you'll be learning your first year of law school. So if you go into the Crushing 1L section of the site, which will launch soon, you'll be able to start drilling all sorts of things. How do you blue book? How do you prepare for class? How do you outline? How do you prepare for exams? And then also, let's expose you to all these different concepts, torts, property law, con law, so forth, so that when you're going into class, you're fluent with everything that's going to start to take place.
Yep.
And that's going to give you a leg up. But anyways, we're looking for people who are in law school or who have graduated from law school very successfully and want to come back and teach these 1L classes.
Yeah, basically, did you crush 1L?
Mm-hmm.
And are you a demon? Ideally, you studied for the LSAT using LSAT demon. But if you're a longtime podcast listener and you now have done a year or two of law school and you killed it, we would love to hear from you. Help at thinkinglsat.com. And yeah, we're looking for teachers, people who can help us create questions, people who can help us write explanations. And we're going to give that product away, right, to every Demon subscriber.
That's right. Yeah. So if you have basic, premium, or live, you'll have the beta version of Crushing 1L. Yep.
Yeah, it's all in beta, but there's already a ton of stuff there.
So, a lot. Yeah. Abi's team has put together, I think, 1,000 questions already.
Yeah. If you're starting law school this fall, you should definitely be doing those skills and the questions that are related to those skills, because it kicks ass. If the demon worked for you, I think Crushing 1L is going to also work for you. Eventually, we're going to create a new subscription plan for Crushing 1L that won't require Law Hub Advantage, because you don't need to pay a fee to access the LSAT questions anymore once you're already done with the LSAT. For now, a Demon Basic subscription will get you access to all that Crushing 1L curriculum.
Yeah. I mean, we'll add the ability for people to turn off that subscription. They'll lose access to the LSAT content, but it makes it possible in the meantime, at least, to avoid that fee.
Perfect.
Yeah. Email your resume and your law school transcript to help@thinkinglsat.com. Or no, we want to send it to help@lsatdemon.com.
You tell me.
Doesn't matter.
They'll both find the same place. But yeah, I think we probably don't want you to email the show. I think we probably want you to email the help team. help@lsatdemon.com.
Yep. Cool. All right. This next one is the cost of delaying applications. It's coming to us from Liam.
Liam says, "Hi, Demon Team. I know the first words out of your mouth will be just wait. Next. But hear me out and tell me how stupid applying this cycle would be. Because if it's only a little stupid, I'm willing to do it." Okay.
What?
Here we go. I have a 4.02 LSAC UGPA, and I'm entering my senior year. I took the April, June, and August LSATs. I'm registered for September. I got a 165 on both my April and June tests, and I have studied my ass off since then. My last 3 practice tests before my August test were 175, 174, and 170. I felt like I did poorly on the August test, but really, how would I know? You wouldn't know. Students have a terrible track record on figuring out whether they did well or did poorly on their tests. So you'll find out for sure when the scores are released.
Yep.
Here's my conundrum. If I apply September 1st with my August score, I'll have more negotiation power. If I apply, if I apply, if I apply in late September with my September score, I might have a better LSAT, but less leverage. The only way I wouldn't retake in September is if it was at or above my highest PT score. So I'll likely be retaking it anyways. How late is too late? Am I moving from first applicant to being lumped in with the late applicant masses by waiting a month? Longtime listener and Demon user, thanks for all you do. Best, Liam.
The conundrum is misplaced.
Okay.
So Liam is putting a lot of weight on the difference between applying early in September and late in September. That's trivial. What matters is your LSAT score.
Yeah.
So if you crush your August test, great, apply. I'm okay if you crush your September test, apply. Because what really matters here is your LSAT score. But it is true, every month, at least for some schools, you're decreasing your chances of success. At other schools, though, they don't even consider applications until November, December.
Yeah.
So it just depends.
Yeah, Harvard, Stanford, Yale, they take pains to say, oh no, we don't do our first wave until January.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fine. But other schools do earlier assessments of applications.
Yep.
So, I don't know. My concern with Liam, I want to say one other thing. Liam keeps saying negotiation power. That's not really what we're trying to do here, Liam. It's not like you're really going to be doing a lot of negotiating. Rather, you're going to apply broadly with a kick-ass LSAT score. You're going to get offers that are just going to put you in a position where you're just going to have better offers. So you're going to walk away from a bunch of bad offers. It's not like you're going to be doing a whole bunch of negotiating, playing the schools off of each other. Maybe in some very narrow circumstances, a school might want to look at one other competing offer. And that can matter a lot, but just don't think that it's like, oh, as soon as September 1st, I send in all my applications and I'm going to immediately be hammering these people on a negotiation. That's not really what we're doing.
Well, and the negotiation actually takes place earlier than you think. It doesn't take place as much between you and the school. It takes place between you and the LSAT and you and your GPA. When you move those needles, you are essentially winning in the negotiation before you even talk to anybody.
Yeah. I see a risk here. It seems as if Liam is underperforming his practice tests on his official tests.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know what Liam was PTing when he got the 165 in April and June.
Yep.
But now he's saying, oh, I'm PTing 175, 174, 170, but I feel like I did poorly on my August test. I'm not going to be surprised at all if that comes back like another 165.
Mm-hmm.
I also wouldn't be surprised if it came back 175.
Mm-hmm.
There's a range, but I will tell you, Liam, because we've seen from experience, this is how it goes down. If you thought that the August test was your last chance to be able to take the test and then apply on September 1st, you're putting a hell of a lot of pressure on that August test. And so if that comes back low, I want you to really have a heart to heart with yourself. Are you sabotaging your own LSAT performance by trying to
100%.
force a LSAT this cycle?
Exactly. You're going to make your September LSAT a ride or die situation.
Well, it sounds like that's what Liam already did, potentially with June and August. And now you're going to be like, okay, well, but then September, this one for real. This is really, this is my last chance to still apply in September. And okay, if you fuck that one up too because you gave yourself so much pressure, now you're looking at the August or the October test. And at that point, we're going to be telling you clearly, hey, at a lot of schools, you really are going to wish you would have had your application in earlier.
Yep.
LSAT's the only thing that matters, but I just don't understand why people. Boy, you're making a big mistake, right? Like that's a large error. There's small errors like applying a little bit later in the cycle. There's large errors like fucking up your LSAT.
Yep.
And I worry, Liam, that like you're trying to avoid these small errors is actually causing you this big error caused by test anxiety.
I agree.
It is time for us, I think, Ben, to revisit this article from the Journal of Law and Economics, 2023, from University of Chicago.
Okay. Yeah.
About the cost of applying late. The title is Dynamic Decision Making Under Rolling Admissions, Evidence from U.S. Law School Applications.
Okay.
You want to read it?
Sure. It says, on average, schools often move even earlier than applicants. On average, applicants submit their first application 81 days from the initial opening, while schools make their first offer only 67 days from the opening.
That's on average. I mean, that's like all U.S. law schools, all applicants, all schools.
Yeah.
So part of the reason why we continually yell what we yell is to tell you guys that the schools, on average, are making moves earlier than the applicants.
Most people
are making moves.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's interesting because there's only a 14-day difference there. When is that 2 weeks difference? 67 days from opening. So September 1st, October 1st, November 1st, like basically
Mid-November,
first week
early
of November.
Yeah.
Like first week in November, the average school is making its first offers.
Yeah.
So now back to Liam. Okay, Liam, the average school, you probably don't care about early September versus the end of September. Don't make a large mistake because you're trying to avoid that small mistake.
Yeah.
But on average, most students are trying to force in applications at the end of November. And if that's the average, then we could probably presume, if it's a normal distribution, that half of them are going to be later than that. December, January, February, long after the schools are already out there trying to grab applicants.
I mean, this is also totally unsurprising. Even if applicants started applying earlier, then I would expect schools to start making offers earlier, because the ones who are applying the earliest are most likely to be the best applicants. And so that's when schools need to jump and start making offers to them. They're not going to be making offers to people at the end. Those are stupid. And I'm using your words, Liam. Those are stupid moves.
Yeah. If the average law school is making its first offer 67 days after its application opened, again, assuming a normal distribution, that means half of the schools are making their first offer sooner than that. And we have seen offers come out. Believe it or not, we've seen offers come out in the end of August. We've seen schools open their application early and start sending out offers, generally really hefty offers, in literally August.
Yep.
So, that doesn't happen every cycle, and it doesn't happen at every school. But it could happen this cycle, and it could happen with schools that you're interested in, or competitor schools to the schools that you're really interested in.
Yeah.
And why wouldn't you give yourself that opportunity? Because all you ever have to do is just wait another cycle.
Yep.
And I guess it just feels like forever for young folks. But when you're older, I promise you'll realize that 1 year is nothing.
Yeah.
It's just nothing at all. It'll be here before you know it. I think we need to read the rest of this because
it's interesting. Yeah.
What does it actually cost applicants, according to this University of Chicago Journal article.
Well, let's start with some of the facts here too. It says schools generally accumulate applications until a sufficiently large pool is formed and then evaluate these applications together with the time cutoffs for such evaluation rounds unknown to applicants. So that means, look, it's going to vary from school to school, and you don't know if it's a month, you don't know if it's 2 months, but every school is doing something different. They're pooling together applicants, and then they're making a cutoff. So if you apply before that cutoff, then you're in that first pool. If you apply after that cutoff, then you're in the next pool.
Yep. And this
you
is
just
one
don't
of the
know when that is.
like they have a lot of information that you don't have, right?
Yes.
I mean, because you don't even know the price
Asymmetry.
you're going to have to pay to this school. Yeah, information asymmetry, absolutely. And by the way, this whole game is again a regressive cross subsidy from the poor to the rich, facilitated by the student loan system, which could impoverish you to the tune of $300,000. Okay, so there are very bad outcomes out there for people who have less information. Then the schools themselves are just, they're in the driver's seat because they're just waiting for the applications to come in. And when they feel like when they feel like they're ready to go out and make some offers, they go out and make some offers, and you have no idea when those are going to be. They can change their strategy every year. Good news is they are actually competing with each other at this point. And we know from economics that auction pricing, I was listening to a podcast yesterday that was talking about this. Auction pricing is a great way to transfer the surplus, the value surplus, from the buyers to the seller. Okay, because if you just put a price, then people who would have paid more are going to pay that price.
Yeah.
Right. So auction pricing benefits the seller. But in this context, the applicants themselves, if they do it our way, they are actually the seller. And if they apply broadly, then they're flipping this whole game in their favor because they apply early, they apply broadly.
Yeah.
Now they've got however many schools they applied to. That's 30 potential bidders for their services.
Yeah.
And now those schools don't know what the other schools are bidding. I mean, they could collude, I suppose, which I have to presume would be illegal. But they're out there bidding for applicants in terms of offers. And some years the schools are like, hey, look, we really need to do something here. You know, Wash U just climbed up into the top 14 in the rankings by being super aggressive about scholarships. We're now in a 3-way tie with them for 14th, and we do not want to fall out of that tie.
And we're very
15th.
Close to falling.
We need to be part of the top 14. Let's get going, and let's make some early offers, and let's grab some high LSAT, high GPA.
Yeah.
And if you apply at the beginning of the cycle to 30 schools with a killer LSAT, then now you're just going to sit back and let them bid on you, and it benefits you. Anyway,
I agree, by the way, that you're saying that this flips the game, and it's exactly how everyone should play it if they want to do it our way and they want to do it the best way we know. But I would say it mainly levels the playing field because you're still competing against people who are making offers to hundreds of other candidates every year. So they go out, they make lots of mistakes, and then they regroup and they learn from them, and then they do it again the next year. And they've been doing this for decades.
Totally.
And so, like, you're just going in, you're setting up shop. You got your LSAT score, you got your GPA, and you're looking around. You're saying, "Wow, what's it like to be a freshman in high school?" Like, you don't know what's going on.
Oh yeah, and you're at a wild disadvantage if you only apply to one school.
Oh,
but at least at this stage of the game, and by the way, it's this stage only. These schools are competing with themselves.
Yeah.
Or competing with each other.
Yep.
And the second you pay your first semester tuition, now you're fucked. Now you're fucked. Now
you're locked in. Yeah.
No, they know you're probably not going to do any, you're probably not going to make any moves. Okay. Finish in the very top of your 1L class and you have an opportunity to transfer out. Yeah, sure. Fine. That's true for 5% of your class.
Yeah.
But it's not true for the remaining 95% of the class that they are going to, like, you'll notice a personality change.
Hmm.
Once you're a 1L, they now just don't give any shits about you until you graduate.
Hmm.
And then you'll be part of their alumni network, and they'll send you emails begging for you to buy sweatshirts for the incoming 1Ls.
Yeah.
Okay. Should we talk a little bit more about this data, though? Because we have actually some hard numbers here about how
let's
many
keep going.
LSAT points it costs you to apply later.
Yeah, so this passage continues. Our empirical result that schools impose significantly higher admissions thresholds for later applicants withstands these two identification challenges. That was a little opaque for me. I mean, it's saying that things are getting harder as you apply later, but anyways, I'll continue. Overall, an application delay of 100 days is associated with a drop in admission probability of around 8 percentage points, a disadvantage comparable to lowering the applicant's undergraduate GPA by 0.26 or their LSAT by 2.1 points.
Yeah.
Rephrased from a different perspective, if an applicant in the second evaluation round were submitted early enough to be reviewed in the first round, even if earlier means as little as 1 day in advance so that you avoid the cutoff, the application would be 2.75 percentage points more likely to be accepted.
Yep. Keep going.
In fact, 69.3% of applicants are submitted after the cutoff of the first evaluation round.
Right. So, we don't want to let the perfect be the enemy of the good here, and we certainly don't want to let the perfect be the enemy of your best LSAT. So don't make the ginormous mistake of fucking up your LSAT, only taking it once just so that you can get into this first evaluation round. That's a disaster. That's a disaster.
Yeah.
Thankfully, Liam already took it twice, but he knows he can do better. So those two earlier attempts, are kind of like wasted attempts. Yep. And he has 3 more bites at the apple. I'm worried that he fucked up August because of trying to apply early. Yep. And now he's going to potentially make the same mistake, fuck up September and October, again, because he's trying to apply early. But look, would you rather be among the less than 31% of applicants who are actually in that first evaluation round? Or would you prefer to be in the 69% of applicants that are in later application rounds? And I think it's really important here, but it's only 2.1 LSAT points. Yeah. But
that's
one LSAT point is worth like $10,000 or $15,000 of tuition.
Yeah.
Not only that, but people look at this and they go, "Oh, well, but that's a delay of 100 days." Yeah, but what about the part where they say even if earlier means as little as 1 day in advance? You don't know where the cutoff is for the first wave, and it's going to be different at every school.
Yep.
So again, if I'm your dad, or if I'm the one who's paying the tuition. It's very simple. It's very simple. Deal with your LSAT first. Stop thinking about when you're going to apply to law school. Prep for the LSAT until you're happy with your practice test scores. Then start taking the test officially. Keep prepping. Take the test officially 5 times if necessary. Then, once you're done with the LSAT, apply next time the calendar says September 1st. That would be the rule if I were making the decision for you. I think, Ben, you probably would have the exact same rule for your kids.
It's very simple. Yeah.
It's stress-free, by the way.
But I know my kids may not listen. I give them rules that they don't follow.
Sure. But then are you going to be signing the checks to pay the law school tuitions for them?
That's a conversation, right? Like, how much?
That's a conversation.
Right. Yeah.
And it's funny because we know what we're doing. So we know what kind of advice we would give.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of parents out there are giving the exact opposite of that advice.
Yeah. Just do it. Just apply. Why are you delaying so much?
I mean, you're going to wait another year. Oh my God.
I understand that they're motivated by a sincere concern that their son or daughter is just stalling, not taking action, not moving forward. So these are understandable concerns. But when your child is motivated and trying to do the best they can, delaying is actually smart.
Yeah, and they're not going to go very far in this whole field if they're not motivated anyway. So you really don't want to be forcing them down this path.
Oh, no,
because it's not going to work out the way you think it's going to work out.
Yeah. Make the
And
family proud. Be a lawyer. No, no.
fuck
That's
me. Oh my God. Go to law school and wash out. Go to law school and finish below median of the class. You
take up
know,
substance abuse because that's
have
what
a
most of your colleagues do and they hate it.
fail the bar exam, retake it, fail it again, retake it, finally pass, but you can't really get a job, or you get a job, but it's a shitty job, and you just rack up shit tons of debt, and you have all these high expectations of, oh yeah, Johnny's a lawyer, but then not for long because it didn't work out because you didn't do it the
Or
right
it's like
way.
just like the worst kind of law, tracing accidents or yeah.
Meanwhile, you're competing with people who, like if you think about our top students for this cycle, they already unsubscribed from the demon
Hmm.
because they already exhausted their 5 official attempts, or they already got their 177 or whatever, and they've declared victory over the test.
Hmm.
They've been working on their application materials all summer.
Yeah.
And on September 1st, they just fire all the missiles. And then what are you going to do? You're going to force in an application later just so that you can compete with those people?
Yeah.
At some schools, there are going to be waves that you've already missed because
Hmm.
there's nothing stopping some aggressive school from doing an application offer wave in the middle of September.
Yeah.
And yeah, it might not happen at every school. It might not even happen at very many schools, but it can happen at any school in any cycle. And there's one sure way to to really put your best foot forward. Just wait until the application's open and then apply. It's not a big deal. I really do though. I don't want people, for those people who are like, no, I absolutely have to apply this cycle. I think you're making a huge mistake. Please don't compound the error though by forcing yourself to apply early in the cycle with a shitty LSAT.
Mm.
That's the
Hmm.
last thing you want to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because in 100 days, you could improve your LSAT by 8 points,
Yeah.
completely
Or more.
negating
Yeah.
this whole, this whole delay. So it's the irony is that the best lawyers are the ones who do things perfectly, And so as soon as people start compromising a little bit, that's why I laughed when Liam is like, well, is this going to be a little bit stupid or a lot stupid?
Mm.
It's like, well, I'm not sure it matters because the lawyers that I would really want to hire are the ones who just dot every I, cross every T, triple check everything.
Hmm.
And I don't know, you're always making a mistake by trying to force yourself into this cycle. And
Yeah.
that mistake can compound itself.
Hmm.
Okay, probably move on.
Yeah. All right. This next one is from Morgan. It's main point versus summary. I'll read it. It says Morgan. Morgan says, Megan. Whoa. Okay. Sorry, Megan. Hi. I'm having a lot of trouble determining what is the main point versus a summary of the passage in
What?
reading comprehension. I often will mistakenly predict the main point as a summary, which sets me up for failure for the rest of the passage. What are the main point indicators? And is it always going to be the author's perspective? I specifically had trouble with this on test 8, passage 2, where the author's opinion was tipped by one sentence at the end of the passage.
Yeah, you don't know the main point until you've read the whole thing. You don't. And you should be really curious from the top of the passage to the bottom of the passage. You should be really curious why this passage exists. I don't know what Megan is talking about with I mistakenly predict the main point as a summary.
I think Megan is falling into the trap of listing ideas that were discussed. Like, oh, the passage started talking about the challenges that this people faces in whatever situation, as opposed to what is the author trying to convince me of. That could just be background information that helps you give context. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't. I mean, there are questions that ask you to like recap in order all the elements of the passage.
Yep. Organization questions.
Or we call them organization questions. Okay. And that one I tend to do kind of by process of elimination, and just, there's one answer that you can't eliminate.
Mm-hmm.
That one won't even like say the main point of the passage at all. because it's just like describing the reasoning of the passage in the abstract.
Yeah.
That's certainly not the main point.
Nope.
The main point of a passage is the reason why they wrote it. Like, why does this document exist? Why are you wasting my time with this, author?
Yeah.
What is it? What do you want? Not just the topic, not what's it about, but what about that topic? Do they think this is good? Do they think this is bad? Do they think that there's action that's needed? If they described position A and position B, did they endorse one or both of those positions or neither? Do they think that there's a third position that's a better idea?
Yeah.
In that case, like, yes, their perspective is what matters, right? I mean, what do they want?
Yeah. I think this doesn't capture every passage, obviously, but I think it captures maybe 95% of them. You can think about these people, the authors, as sometimes they're acting like a journalist. They're just telling you that something happened. And the main point is, okay, what's the key
This
idea
happened.
that they're conveying? Yeah. The
Yeah.
second
That's
thing
like
is
5% of passages, though, right? Where they don't
Yeah,
even
that's rare.
ever take a position.
Yep.
They're just like, oh, well, these guys say this and these guys say that. End of story.
End of story.
Doesn't
Exactly.
happen very often. And they can very frequently tip their hand in just one sentence or even one word, right? If they throw in an unfortunately,
Now they've tipped their hat. Yeah.
That means
Journalists
something.
don't do that, right? Generally.
they shouldn't. If they're
yeah,
a real
they shouldn't.
journalist, they should
Yeah.
just be reporting facts. Yeah.
Exactly. But sometimes, yeah, these passages do. And so then, okay, that can move the author from a journalist style to a critic. So someone, hey, I'm pointing out a problem about the world. And then you can also finally see someone move into like an advocate role where they're saying, hey, here's a problem in the world, but not only is there a problem, but I want to tell you what I think the solution should be.
Yeah.
And that's an advocate. And that
More
covers
often-
like 95% of the passages.
More often than not, yeah. More often than not, they're gonna be trying to convince you of something, and they're gonna be presenting some evidence in favor of that idea. They might also be presenting a conflicting idea and evidence that was presented by someone else in support
Favor,
of that
yeah.
idea.
Sure.
But more often than not, they're going to have something that they're selling and a reason why they think you should buy it. And that's the main point of the passage.
Cool.
Next one.
This next one is from Blair. It's on doing logical reasoning sections backward.
Terrible idea. Don't do it. We've heard this tip a million times. I think we've done it before on pearls versus turds. This is a turd. This is a terrible advice. This is a terrible idea. Anyway, here's what Blair says. First off, I love the podcast and I listen to it all the time. Thank you for all the work you do. I know you've touched on this before, but I wanted to get your thoughts on starting LR sections from the last question and working backward. I've seen some LSAT tutors on TikTok swear by this approach, or even starting mid-section, like at question 15, as a way to improve scores. We've seen lately the team posting like hilariously bad TikTok advice.
Yeah.
This is the stupidest gimmick, the stupidest strategy. It does not stand to any kind of reason at all. And just because some schmo is trying to get clicks on TikTok saying it's a good idea, it doesn't mean that it's actually a good idea.
Yeah.
Blair continues, for me, fatigue really hits toward the end of a section, and that, combined with the harder questions, hurts my accuracy. I recently tried doing a section backward, and it felt a lot better. I tackled the hard questions first and got them all right, and then cruised through the easier ones at the end. I was still fatigued, but it mattered less since those questions weren't as complex. Do you think this is a strategy worth making my go-to method, or would you advise against it? Thanks again, Blair. I'm firmly against. I guess we should grant that Blair has a sample of one, and Blair thinks it worked in a sample of one.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Well, I'd love to know what. I would love to know what score Blair got.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like-
Did you get them all right in the entire section?
Yeah.
If you got them all right in the entire section, then I don't think it's this strategy. I just think you're good enough at the LSAT that it doesn't really matter what you do.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling that there's like a placebo effect going on as well. oh, Joe Schmo on TikTok said I should do this, so I'm going
Confidence.
to do it. And then you feel really confident doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's tough. All the I'm glad it might have worked out in this situation, but the first questions tend to be easier. You're right about that. And so that's where people should be spending their time. The last thing you want to do is rush on easier questions and end up getting them wrong because you're rushing.
Yep.
And by the way, get the harder ones wrong because they're
Yeah.
harder, even though you had more time for them.
Well, not only that, but if you're not already scoring 175, you really shouldn't be finishing the section anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Blair, be honest. What are you scoring? If you're scoring 165, this is a terrible strategy because to go from 165 to 170, it'd be easier not to ever even do those hardest questions on the section. All you got to do is just get the first 20 in a row right in every section, randomly guess on the scores at the end, and you're already damn near 170, if not above 170.
Yeah.
So the tragedy, I mean, and that's why this is laughably bad advice for the vast majority of students, because the vast majority of students don't score 170.
Yeah.
And so what this advice is telling people who are bad at the LSAT, I mean, or at least not professional level, to start with the professional level ones first. It's like, oh, you want to learn to ski? Oh, no problem. Just go straight up to the very top of the mountain, go right down the hardest double black diamond you could find.
Yeah.
Okay. That seems like a recipe for disaster. Yeah, that's what this is. It's a recipe for disaster. I suppose it could work, but not really, because you're still doing the same questions in the same amount of time. So it doesn't make any sense to me why it would work. If you actually are an expert, then you're not going to have a fatigue problem anyway. I think the only reason why Blair has a fatigue problem is that Blair's not actually that good at the LSAT.
Yeah.
And, you know, Blair, if you run out of time for whatever reason and do it this way, you're going to be randomly guessing on the easiest questions on the section. That's dumb. It would be far better that if you run out of time at the end of the section, you randomly guess on presumably the hardest questions on the section. And that's the reason why this is really a turd for the vast majority of students.
Yeah.
And I don't even think there's any upside in it for expert students. I really, really don't. Because, like, Blair's got this idea that, oh, I should be fatigued. Do you find LSAT shit fatiguing, Ben?
No, and in fact, some people like to get warmed up.
Right, do a little bit extra before the section starts so that they can get in the get going. You know,
Yeah.
I never thought that was necessary because you can just do that on the easy questions that appear at the beginning of every section.
Yeah.
Take your time with them. Make sure you're picking the right answer. Calmly, carefully solve one at a time.
Yep.
Move on. Eventually, maybe you run out of time. Oh, fine, whatever. Guess on a couple real hard ones at the end. That's fine. It's a stress-free way of doing it. And I just don't think fatigue really shouldn't be a thing. The only reason why you're getting fatigued is that you're struggling with questions. And this, to me, makes it seem like, Blair, all you're really going to be doing here is front-loading the fatigue, if anything, because you're going to be working on questions that might be out of your, like, optimal range. Should we move on?
I do want to say one thing. Blair, your email is totally void of any punctuation or grammar mistakes. Well
Nice.
formatted. Yeah. Like a lot of people miss things. I noticed that throughout, right? Blair writes, I was still fatigued, comma, but it mattered less since those questions weren't as complex. You need a comma there because the next sentence has a subject or the next clause has a subject. A lot of people miss that kind of stuff. I don't know. I just noticed this whole email.
Yeah, and
is
based
like,
on that, you know, that makes me think that Blair probably is scoring somewhere in the 170s. And I still think that this is a bad idea, though. I still just wouldn't do it. I don't see any upside in it. Sorry.
yeah,
Next
no
one
worries.
is from Trevor. Oh, actually, it's a pair of emails from Trevor and Ireland, both of whom are asking about breaking out of Plateaus.
Okay. Trevor writes, thank you for providing your services, especially your fantastic Demon Daily and LSAT Thinking LSAT podcasts, which I've been listening to for months now. I've hit a wall with my LSAT prep, unable to push beyond a score of 174 on practice exams. I've gotten a 173 or a 174 on my past 5 or 6 practice exams, and I'm not sure how to progress from here. Okay. Trevor, you have a consistency that people would kill for. When reviewing what I got wrong on each practice exam, I have a hard time synthesizing an overall problem to solve. Oh, that's your
Stop
problem.
trying to synthesize any overall problem. I mean,
figure out the exact problem that you messed up
with
in
that
individual question.
That one question, Trevor.
Mm-hmm.
You're not doing a good enough job. You're not taking that one question seriously enough. Instead, you're like, oh, yeah, that's a necessary assumption question. Let me write that down in my wrong answer journal. Let me go see if I've missed other necessary assumption questions.
No,
wait a second.
No.
You still don't understand why you missed that one.
Yeah. Look at what Trevor says next. There isn't a specific question type that I consistently get wrong or an identifiable problem with my method in both reading comprehension and logical reasoning.
Yeah, there is.
You're doing something wrong. You have to figure out what exactly you misunderstood about that passage.
At every level, including Trevor's low 170s level, at every level, half your mistakes at least are just coming from misreading stuff. So, Trevor, you're misreading stuff. You know, it's probably annoying when I do this all the time, but if you missed a question, the odds are really good that you misread the passage or misread the question or misread the wrong answer that you picked or misread the right answer that you didn't pick. And very frequently, you misread more than one of those things.
Yeah.
And that's where your mistakes are coming from. So instead of this search for synthesis or question types or patterns, whatever, just figure out exactly why that right answer is right and maybe contemplate, well, but why didn't I pick it? Also, why is the wrong answer wrong? Why did you pick it? Not only that, but back up a step. Did I even read the passage? Like, is there an argument there? Is it a good argument? Is it a bad argument? If it's bad, why is it bad? And then once you read the question, do you know what they're asking you? Like, what are we looking for here? Did you make a prediction? If you didn't make a prediction, why didn't you make a prediction? If you did make a prediction, was it on the right track? Did you abandon your prediction for some other answer? Or did you pick an answer that was superficially similar to your prediction, but doesn't actually say what it needed to say to be correct? There's lots of ways that you could have missed that one question. And that's really the only way to make the improvements that you're looking for.
Trevor continues, it seems like there are just one or two really hard questions on each section that I miss. Have I reached the end of the road with LSAT prep? Or is there a way that I'm missing to progress from here?
I think you can still continue to make progress. I mean, I'm not convinced that your 173 or 174 on your past 5 or 6 exams means anything at all. But the mistakes do mean, okay, you did something wrong there. So it's an opportunity, right? Every one of these tests, if you're missing 1 or 2 questions per section, then there's, 3 to 6 questions per test that are there trying to help you break out of your plateau.
Yeah. But they're your friends.
You got to listen to them. You got to pay attention to those ones because, people are like, they're kind of like glib about it almost like, oh, so that's just 1 or 2 really hard ones.
Really hard one. Yeah.
Well, that's the difference between a 174 and a 178. So let's figure those ones out. You want to read Ireland's email as well?
Yep. For the past 8 practice exams I've scored in a very narrow range of 167 to 169. I've been studying for 7 months, and these past 8 exams have spanned the most recent 2 months. I have been working with a consistent study schedule that primarily combines focused drilling and timed sections. I am wondering if there is a way to advance my score any further, or I should just accept that this is my score. Same problem.
Yeah, exact same advice that we gave to Trevor, except, Ireland is making a few more mistakes. So there's a few more questions there that Ireland can learn from. Yeah. And that's the only way you're breaking out of that plateau.
Yep.
There's not really a magic, no magic beans to offer you.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to the personal statement Gong show. This is where we read a personal statement, and as soon as we decide that we no longer want to read it, we ring the gong.
Yep.
and stop reading. So far, Eleanor is our contestant for today. Sophia is our winner. She got us to read 34 lines.
That's
so
impressive.
let's see what Elena does. Yep.
Yep. All right. So here's Elena's personal statement. Quote, Elena, did you pack a lunch or are you buying today? My first grade teacher, Mrs. Way, asked me this question every morning.
I wasn't even gonna let you finish that sentence. Gong. Thank you. There's a punctuation error, and more egregiously, we're talking about your first grade teacher asking you a question when you were in first grade.
Also, you're quoting the question, but then you're saying Mrs. Way asked me this question every morning, all as part of one sentence.
Bizarre.
That's a broken sentence.
Yeah.
So terrible topic, terrible way to start. And also punctuation errors in the very first sentence. And yeah, we're both ringing the gong. Thank you for playing.
Thank you.
1.5
Yeah.
lines for Elena.
Okay.
That's how the Gong Show works. We're going to do an episode soon where we do just a whole bunch of personal statements back to back to back. That's by listener request. Sorry, Elena, that you didn't make it further, but you just can't think that you're going to make it through the Gong Show with a broken very first sentence that's talking about you when you were in literally first grade. About your lunch, by the way.
Yeah.
Which you gives a shit.
And your teacher asking you. Why is your teacher asking you? Okay. Too many questions, not enough substance. Good luck.
Lots of things there that I'm not interested in learning more about.
Yeah.
And also a broken sentence, which makes it look unprofessional, not serious. The gong has been rung. If you're gearing up for this admission cycle and want us to review your statement, oh yeah, here it is. In 2 weeks, we're going to host a Gong Super Show. Super Gong Show. I don't know. Gong Show Super Show.
Yeah,
It's going to be an entire show dedicated to reviewing personal statements. Make sure to send your statement in by September 1st for consideration. And you can send those personal statements in via thinkinglsat.com.
Cool. Let's move to Word of the Week. This week, the word comes from Style by Joseph Williams. This is one of my favorite books on writing because I read it in college and it totally transformed my understanding of the goal of writing or how to write clearly.
Okay.
So, wow, who's reading this book and why did they suggest this word? Where did we get this from?
I don't know. But the quote here, and that includes the word of the week, it says, the standard advice about writing is mostly truisms, like make a plan, don't use the passive, or think of your audience. So here, Joseph Williams is offering 3 examples
Of
of
truisms.
truisms,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Make a plan, don't use the passive, or think of your audience. It sounds like all things that are true, but not very useful.
I think that's what it. Yeah, I think that the way people use truism, it's not a positive.
Yeah.
I think it's a derogatory.
Maybe it's obvious.
Yeah, it's like, oh no shit, I should make a plan.
I shouldn't use the passive.
No shit, I shouldn't use the passive voice. Although nobody even knows what that means. But
Yeah.
no shit, I should think of my audience. I guess what Joseph Williams is saying is, well, here's the standard advice, which everybody's heard a million times, and it's obviously true, but it's also not helpful. It's boring, not helpful. It's just a truism. And Joseph Williams is going to offer some other shit, apparently.
Yeah. So looking at the definition here, truism, noun, obviously, a statement that is so obviously true that it is almost not worth saying. And here's an example. As far as health is concerned, it's a truism that prevention is better than cure. Great. True.
Yeah.
But what?
That example is like, I mean, the irony there, if you're going to call that a truism, it's like, well, then why don't we actually behave that way? Why don't our medical systems, why would we spend infinite money on treating people's cancer, but we won't like spend money to prevent cancer.
No, I get it though, because everybody's going to agree with it, and they're just going to immediately turn around and say, "Yeah, duh."
No
but
shit.
what do I do to prevent?
Oh, I see. That there needs to be like more is needed there. It's too obvious.
Too
Tell me
high
more.
level. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I mean, these examples from Joseph Williams, make a plan. I mean, we could probably talk about that. Don't use the passive. We could definitely talk about that because people don't know what it means. Think of your audience. We could talk about that. You know, how to effectively think of your audience. So it's not that it's wrong. It's not that it's bad. It's just that kind of no shit. What else you got?
Yeah. Let's dig in. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Did you hear any truisms on today's show? Let us know. If you want to see all our previous words of the week, just go to lsat.link/wow. That's for words of the week without the, so wow. But anyways, lsat.link/wow. Be LSAT famous. Please ask questions or share news with us on our website. That's thinkinglsat.com, or on our socials at LSAT Demon. If you have questions about the Demon, please email our amazing help team at help@lsatdemon.com. You can also check out our other podcast. That's LSAT Demon Daily. That was episode 521 of the Thinking LSAT podcast. Thanks all y'all for listening. Nice knowing you. Don't pay for law school.